Okay, thank you all for having me today. As mentioned, my name is Alyssa and I work for the CoRDS Registry at Sanford Research. So I'm going to give just a quick presentation about how the registry works and a little bit more about Sanford. So Sanford Health is a large healthcare system. We are located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So this image kind of gives you an overview of how large our footprint is. So we have multiple hospitals and clinics scattered throughout the Midwest and actually globally. Here is a picture of where I work at Sanford Research. And so this is where the CoRDS registry resides. So for anyone who ends up filling out the questionnaire that the ACTA Alliance, two Alliance, excuse me, created with CoRDS, and if you called in and needed help, this is where we work at here. So our mission and vision is bringing together patients and researchers to accelerate disease treatment. So as I mentioned earlier, we are a hospital system by trade and have a branch called Sanford Research. So Sanford Health sponsors our efforts to build the most robust, cost-free rare disease registry in the world. So our innovative online platform ties together researchers, patients, advocacy groups, and industry partners to catalyze the discovery of novel therapeutics for rare diseases. So just a little bit of background that I'm sure most of you already know, over 400 million people globally suffer from a rare disease or a rare condition, and 40% of them are often misdiagnosed at least once. There's over 10,000 plus distinct types of rare and genetic diseases, and it can take some individuals 6+ years to receive that diagnosis. If you think about that, that's 6 years of someone's life that can really make a big impact. And the impact is even greater when you think about their family and friends and caregivers that are also alongside that journey. So individually rare, and therefore there's little information available with rare diseases. So access to information tends to be a central issue for patients, families, caregivers, physicians, genetic counselors, researchers, and advocates and foundations. So we have a patient-centered approach here. So we understand that in rare diseases, many times the patients and their family members, they're the experts in what's going on. So in order to properly investigate a disease, researchers must have a good understanding of the disease's natural history. So of these two ideas, this is how we created the CoRDS registry. So more about CoRDS. So first and foremost, we are a contact registry. Second, we are a platform for collecting standardized common data elements across rare diseases. And third, we are a program designed to encourage development of disease-specific registries in natural history studies. So for some of you, you may have never heard of registries before. So what is a registry? So a patient registry is a collection of data captured regarding a group of patients. So it could be contact information, demographic, health information, and quality of life information. So this can be entered by a patient or a clinician. So a registry can serve as a way to contact members of a group later on, or it can serve to build up a story of the progression of a disease. So CoRDS is a patient registry for all rare diseases and rare condition carriers of these conditions, and then those that are undiagnosed. We tie together patients, advocacy groups, and researchers. So unlike many other registries, our registry is made available at no cost to patients, advocacy groups, or researchers. It is free, and it will always be free. So patients and their families can complete questionnaires. Advocacy groups and foundations can compose a disease-specific questionnaire. Participants can enroll in CoRDS by completing their questionnaire, and I will show you guys how to do that here in just a few minutes. And then researchers and clinicians can apply for access for that de-identifiable data in the platform. So participants are the primary owners of their data. So because they are in control on how the data is ultimately used, they get to decide who they want to share their data with. Participants can, decide if they want to be removed from the registry. CoRDS stores and manages the information as required by our institutional review board and compliance team. So we will never sell, rent, or lease personal information. Information in CoRDS will remain there unless consent to share is provided by the participant. So kind of goes back to participants get to own and dictate what they want done with their data. But we will contact you at least once a year to update any changes that may have occurred in your condition or your loved one's condition. So some challenges in developing treatments and therapies is the lack of scientific interest, difficult to secure funding, competition with common diseases, limited understanding of mechanisms, and then limited opportunities to test candidate therapy. So smaller patient pools, limited data, all of that can get in the way. So how our data is used with CoRDS is researchers can access that or petition to access that de-identifiable data, and then advocacy groups can use the data as well for non-research purposes, so education, grant applications, and then pharmaceutical companies are also able to access that de-identifiable data. So new discoveries are made based on the information contained in natural history studies of diseases. So patients own their story. So by sharing each story, scientists and doctors learn more about how to approach rare diseases in research and treatment. So patient registries and natural history studies can create awareness, can drive that research. The information collected in a registry can help physicians or help researchers with more publications. If physicians have more resources available, they can make better decisions and better diagnose their patients. So who can enroll? So as I mentioned earlier, individuals with a rare or uncommon disease condition of an unknown prevalence, undiagnosed individuals, and then carriers. So I'm going to walk you through quickly how to enroll in the system. Here is a link that also your foundation will be able to provide for you, and I believe it's on their website too. So you would click on that link and it brings you up to the activation form. This is where you'll type in your name or your loved one's name, whoever is the one with the condition, or if you're a carrier, you can also put your information here too. Birth date, it's kind of self-explanatory. You do type in your diagnosis down here. And then there also is, and I don't have it on this screenshot, but a checkbox if you're a carrier to designate if you're a carrier of the condition. And then here is a part of the consent form that also will pop up on the online platform. And you would check this box saying you agree to what the consent says. Then you will get this thank you screen. And if you decide to enroll through the postal mail and have a paper questionnaire mailed to you, we will get that to you within 7 to 14 business days. If you are an online participant, you will get this email in your email, and then you will click the link to get into your account. You'll type in a password here, and this is what that screen would look like. Here's your username and password, your login. And then once you log in, this is what the home screen looks like in your participant portal. You would click this Start Questionnaire button right here, and then it will walk you through a series of questions pertaining to you or your loved one's specific condition. And then once you're done with all of the questions, it'll say thank you. You can go back to your home screen, and there's different tabs that you can click. So if you were to click the document upload button, this is where you would upload maybe your genetic report, maybe x-rays or any other pertinent information regarding your condition that researchers could find valuable. And then this just, it walks you through how to upload your documents. And then here's an infographic of the metrics that we have. So we have partnered with about 125 different advocacy groups. There's almost 23,000 participants worldwide that are in CoRDS, and we represent over 3,000 different rare conditions. So this slide here also shows time over growth of how the registry has grown. CoRDS has been around for about 12 years. And this is just a little snippet of some of the researchers and some of the pharmaceutical companies that have accessed de-identifiable data in CoRDS, or they've also used CoRDS as kind of a matchmaker service for CoRDS to contact participants to participate in their clinical trial or their clinical study. So wrapping things up here, CoRDS is 100% free of charge for all participants. Information from the CoRDS registry enables scientists to steer their research in the direction of novel discoveries. Patients, advocacy groups, and researchers are brought together in one location. And again, CoRDS costs nothing but the time it takes to complete and update your questionnaire. We also have a podcast. So for those of you that enjoy listening to podcasts about different rare diseases or just hearing from different researchers, we have quite a few episodes on our podcast channel. So please take a listen. And that is all I have for today. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions at all for Alyssa?
Question.
She has some questions. Okay. Yeah, so just to reinforce, I mean, the idea of having this data at our disposal and making sure that the community is involved in aggregating this data so that it can be used for research opportunities or education opportunities later on, critically important. So if you guys have not done very much research on the idea of a registry, please make sure that you research that, ask any questions. We're here to answer any kind of questions. We have our SME right here, our subject matter expert, who's been doing the research and found this group really great opportunity. So I don't know, did you have anything that you wanted to say at all?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just wanted to tell you all how important it is that you participate in the registry. As Rebecca said before, we all have many opportunities to push research forward and to help our kids and our loved ones with MSMDS in many ways. And the fact of participating in the patient registry, this is a key action, okay? So we are going to be sharing the patient registry very soon from Tattoo Alliance. We are here to help you do the whole process, to answer all your questions, and to even jump into a call with you if you need really a hand to fill out the survey. We tried not to do something complicated, but still, if you find some need of help in this area, Tattoo Alliance is going to be always here to help you, but we really need your help. Just filling up the questionnaire to make more researchers start interested in our disease and to push research forward at the end. Okay, thank you.
Got one question back there, sure.
What the difference is between this registry and for those that are maybe participating in research with Mass General Hospital or the John Ritter Foundation, Dr. Milowitz, because there are different registries. Could you explain the differences and why this is so important?
Yeah, absolutely. And the patient registry we have with Sanford, that data is always going to be our data. I mean, we own that data. We own Tattoo Alliance, but you, as personal individuals, you own that data as well. And anytime that you want, you can say, okay, I don't want to keep participating. I want my data removed, or any other thing that you want to do with your data. The main difference between the registry at the John Ritter or the natural history study with Dr. Mussolino is that this data we are creating from the patient registry can be shared with all researchers we want to, with any person in the world who wants to actually study this disease and who wants to push research forward. They can access to this data because it's ours. So we will have a process to decide if a researcher wants to start some process of research with this data, they will contact us and we will decide if the purpose of the research is worth it, so we can share our data with them as well. That's the main reason. That's the main difference with other registry. We own this data and we can do with this data forward a lot more research that just being only part of a company as John Ritter or a specific study as the natural history study.
Do you want us to fill this out and leave it with you, or do we do it online, or what's the best way?
It's gonna be better just to do it online. I just wanted to give you that so you could have a look in here, and if you have any question about any of the questions per se in the survey, we can answer to you here. So
I just wanted to make one comment on what you said before.
Mhm.
Actually, the university that houses this at Sanford, they have an institutional review board that governs the process for allowing researchers to access this data. So you said that you guys would make
Yeah,
a
well,
decision. I just wanted to clarify, 'cause
Yeah.
it's a really nice feature of this registry. So, right, all your data is gonna be housed there. The data is all de-identified, which means somebody can't go, like, oh, hey, maybe, right? Researchers have to apply to them with a legitimate reason for accessing the data. They go through the institutional review board to make the point for that, and then they can gain access to it. So it's like a really nicely scientifically controlled registry. And then they can ask research questions of it, which is like an amazing way that you as the community can really incentivize more research being done on your disease just by pooling your health information. So it's a real powerhouse.
thank you, Rebecca. Etienne?
If we give this to somebody who wants to fill it out online or on paper, can they fill it out on paper and send it in?
Yeah, absolutely. They can just send it. Yeah.
We still have not gotten the person who is treated by Levi's pulmonologist who has the disease to like reach out to us. So I was gonna give it to her as like give this to them and see if they'd be willing to at least fill out the registry, because
Okay.
then we don't know who they are, but at least they're registered.
Mhm.
But if they have to do it online, I was like, okay, maybe they won't do that because that sounds like more work than just filling out paper. But if they would do it on paper and send it in, would they just send it? Where would they send it to?
Good question.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the pages.
Yeah, this is all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one right here.
You got it there.
Look at that.
So with this registry, so just to understand is that the purpose of this registry is for us, like Rebecca just said, to pool our data together so that we start to create our own scientific collection of information about our disease that we then are making available to researchers anywhere if they're interested in doing research on MSMDS. We're giving them basically the foundation data points to help study.
Well, and they can collaborate too, because like with the Marfan disease or the Moyamoya,
Exactly.
there's
Yes.
types of.
Right,
Similarities.
Exactly. So it's really, really beneficial. And so I want to also just ask, is there a piece to this that requires us to update anything? Is it something that we need to be updating regularly, like every year? And how would we be getting communication from the registry? Will that be coming from Acta2 Alliance or will that be coming from CoRDS?
The communication from our registry will be coming from Acta2 Alliance, and it can be updated as well. So I think you can actually update as different things are coming up.
And courts will push you an annual notice.
Yeah, courts will push an annual one.
notice
Yeah.
to Your info and what's going in there.
Great,
So you're gonna get information.
great.
Hmm.
Thank you.
So when, that was, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, they did like a skin. They like took a little piece of Ava's skin and they were gonna like grow it. And we also did like it was, yeah, I know. Do you guys remember that? It was the very first conference that we did. I don't remember the doctor's name or whatever.
Yeah,
But I had not heard anything about that afterwards. So do you know where, is that the same place? Or is it different?
I can speak to that.
It was that was the.
Joanna, I can speak to that. So that was Dr. Mussolino's research lab, and they are growing that tissue, and that's what they're using, and not just Ava's, but everyone who did the biopsies, to distribute amongst the labs to see how therapies are how tissues are responding to therapies. So that it stayed in that lab where the consent was given. So it's not associated with cords at all. But that is the appeal of having a patient registry, is that, you gave Ava's tissue, right? And it's doing amazing things to help move our community forward, no doubt, but that's owned by Mass General, right? Anything you give to a team in Houston is owned by Houston, and no one has any obligation to share that. But this registry is ours, and we can choose who to share it with, and nobody owns it except for us.
Good questions. Anybody else? All right, thank you from the team at CoRDS. Appreciate it. Next
Yes, thank you for having me. And if there's any further questions that people have, they can always email us in the CoRDS inbox. I think our email address is on the brochures, or they can give us a call and we will help them.
Awesome. Thank you very much.